move to a very tragic and heinous story out of Phoenix, causing a ton of outrage. Another black teen killed. Over the holiday weekend, 17-year-old Elijah Al-Amin was stabbed to death by a white man because the teen was listening to rap music. There was literally no other interaction. The man said the music made him feel unsafe. So I want to bring in Nohelani Graf in Phoenix with more on this story. Nohelani, I don't really have the words for what happened here. If you can just give us the latest.
So, Kimberly, your heart absolutely has to break for Elijah Al-Amin's family. First of all, they held a vigil right away so that friends and family had a way to come together and attempt to start the grieving process. And now they're in the process of planning a funeral for this unthinkable act. Then, of course, there's the suspect, Michael Adams. The state has come forward and said he will be charged with first-degree murder in this case. He's going to show up in court next week for a routine hearing as this process begins, but already the state is starting to build that case and dig back into his history. This is a man who spent nearly 3 years in prison and got out 2 days before this attack. Previously in prison for aggravated assault charges, his time extended for assaulting an officer while in prison. This time, according to witnesses, Elijah was simply filling up his gas. He pulled up, he had his speakers up, he's listening to what his sister says was probably old school hip hop because that's what he loved, and he went in to buy a soda. They also say that the suspect had just helped someone fix a light on their car and then, unprovoked, as you mentioned, walks in, stabs this young man, this 17-year-old, in the back and slits his throat, and then casually walks out and walks down the street while Elijah is left to stumble outside for help, and a bystander is trying to render aid to keep him from bleeding out on the pavement. It's absolutely horrendous.
Wow, that is so terrible. Can you just tell us what we actually do know about Elijah, his life, who he was as a young teen?
You know, as heartbreaking as this is and as devastated as his family is, they can't help but lighten up a little bit when they think about him. I mean, this is a young man who was a go-getter, just 17 years old, already working 2 part-time jobs so that he could buy that car that he was driving, and he had just paid to upgrade it even more. He was going into his senior year of high school. His sister says he was even considering getting a 3rd part-time job, and when he graduated, he wanted to do something to try and create his own business. So this was a young man with plans ahead of him, and by all accounts, just a fighter who had a bright future ahead of him. And now his family is in absolute disbelief, and at the same time trying to navigate this extreme sadness, also coupled with the extreme anger that they feel from this situation.
All right, Nohelani Graf at our ABC station in Phoenix, thanks so much for the updates on this story. We appreciate it.